And good morning, Minecraft. This is Mr. Kassarian, and welcome to another episode of my SMP series. Nick is still busy with work. Silly work virus. And so we're alone today, and we're hooking up some more logistics pipes. Yoink. So basically all we're doing is we're just going to take our golden pipe and connect it down. So you can see I have these Mark II and Mark III chassis all around here. Now, each one of these is going to get an extractor module. Oops. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. And jump. And jump. 3. And 1, 2, and 3. Beautiful. I love it. Okay. So now what are we doing? Well, each one of these is also going to get at least one item sync module. Like that. And then like that. Okay. So now, why don't we go back upstairs and let's get a few things that we are going to need. Now, the great thing about logistics pipes is that basically it's easily configurable, you know? I'd actually prefer to do this with applied energistics, but we don't really have AE yet. All right, that all needs to come out of here. This chest is a little messy right now, and I apologize for that, but there's not much I really can do about it. There we go. All right, that needs to go back in there as well. Let's resort that. And I'm just kind of cleaning out my inventory right now. We had a bit of a backlog because I forgot to reconnect the power for my bees, so whoopsies. That goes in there. Alright, there we go. That looks a little bit more organized and neat and clean. That needs to go over there. This needs to go in the wood chest. That needs to go in the wood chest. Alright. Wait, why did you show up here? You should be over here. I don't know. We'll see if it rearranges itself in a few minutes. Alright. This is one of the downsides of logistics pipes. It can sometimes get a little bit nutty on you, and you just have to watch it for a little bit. I didn't have the time to actually really observe it last night, so that's why it's derping out a little bit. Alright, this all needs to come out like that. Okay. Let's see here. You go in here, along with... Well, you're a seed, technically. You're not. Seeds. Seeds go in here, along with that. You're a sapling, you're a sapling, you're not a sapling. You go over here. And mob drops go over here. There we go. Okay. I think we've almost figured out what we're doing. This stuff for just right now is going to go in here. There. Much, much better. That can go in. No, that's mob drops, isn't it? There. That, and that. These all go into here. That, and that. Awesome. Okay. That's much better. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take... Remember this chest here? Iron, copper, tin... The nether ores, which we're not even going to touch for right now. And can you... I think we can grind this. Okay. Much better. Okay. So now let's drop these guys off into here. Okay. Just to make my life a little bit easier and not have them clogging up my inventory. Beautiful. So now let's run back down into our basement and we can start configuring these things. And we're going to configure this pretty much the same way that we configured everything earlier. Alright. So we're just going to drop this down. Sort that, sort that. And we're just going to set these guys up inside the item sync modules. Just like so. Easy. Now, one of the things I did, and this is something to keep in mind if you're using IC2 for sorting and processing, is that I put 2 sets of modules in this. I put a logistics chassis Mark III in there. And there really is a reason for that. Basically, I was worried that you get a lot of byproduct dusts from this sort of stuff. And I wanted to make sure I had the extra room and I was actually able to, you know, process everything properly. Okay. So now let me just hook up this final macerator. We should be all set. At least with the initial stages of our processing. And actually, what I'm going to do, I just realized, is I'm going to take these extractor modules out. And once you put them in, they don't stack anymore. Just to let you guys know that, okay? So now, and I also want to pull the extractor modules out of these, actually. Like this. Like that. There we go. Okay. So now let's start moving these on to the next step of the process. Oh, hold on. There we go. Sorry, I had to cough. Oh, these guys aren't hooked up to power. Oops. Okay. Well, we can fix that pretty quickly. Remember, that system is now hooked into our power net, which I changed up, by the way. I just built a bunch of magmatic dynamos to run that instead because it was kind of derping out on me. So in theory, IC2 chest, insulated gold cable, thank you. Yeah, it was the rotary craft, just as an piece of advice for you guys, rotary craft eats an incredible amount of power. And, well, not power, but server time. And because Rika models everything realistically, which I think is awesome, I think that's epic that that Rika models everything realistically. It's just, it eats your server. It just eats server. Let's jump up here. There we go. Okay. And now let's get back down here, and over here, and up here, and over here, and then up to here. Perfect. We can cook that in, and then we can come over a level and hook those guys in. So we should now have power to these things. Beautiful. Alright, let me just patch some of the floor up here so I can move around a little bit easier. Perfect. And now we can start macerating this stuff. Apparently ferrous can't go in. God, that's too bad. Okay, so we'll take ferrous out of these systems then. Ferrous goes out, and ferrous goes out. Okay. That's good to know. Ferrous cannot be processed in those, so let's put the ferrous back in the chest. Okay. So now we're going to macerate up this tin ore. Notice it takes bloody forever. We'll macerate up the copper ore, and we'll macerate up the... But I already said the copper ore to be macerated. Did I have 2 copper in here? Oh, I had 1 copper from Tinkers and 1 copper... Okay. Alright, so we have our crushed tin. Now, I'm pretty certain that this will also give us crushed copper of the same type, which is the IC2 type. Remember, because these machines will always spit out their IC2 equivalent. I think this also will spit out, yeah, crushed iron. And this should spit crushed copper out at us as well. Yeah, IC2 crushed copper. We put gold in, we put silver in, and we put lead in. And this is just to get us our basic types, by the way. Put this stuff in. And we should be getting this stuff out in just a couple seconds. Now, in previous versions of IC2, we'd now throw this stuff directly into our smelters to gain a +2 modifier on it. But that's not what we're going to be doing today. all right, because we now have the ore washing plant from IC2, which Nick was kind enough to make that crafting recipe for me. So if I come over here to my logistics chassis, right, and I go into my item sync modules, I can now add these in. Crushed silver, crushed gold, crushed lead. And if I'm correct about this, I should have 1, 2, oh, we're missing. Tin, copper, copper, copper. Okay, right, because we have the 2 coppers in there. Okay, so now this should be added fine, right? We have our lead. Okay. So I'm going to add this into each of these now. And this is basically how you do multi-stage processing. It's a little complicated some days, but it works. So add that stuff in. And don't forget, you're actually 2 inventory windows, you're 2 settings windows deep when you're working on this. Let's do crushed, 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 crushed. And yes, we are eventually going to do processing using RotaryCraft, but until we have that set up, we're doing it this way. So now with the ore washing plant, we're going to drop our lead ore in, and this process does take a wee bit of time. All right. And we're probably going to make some upgrades for these that'll speed the process up. And we're going to get a bunch of byproducts out of this, okay? So we're going to get our primary result, then our byproducts, and then some stone dust to go with it, okay? And stone dust is useful for some other IC2 stuff later on. So it's going to spit out, okay, so we got stone dust, tiny pile of sulfur dust, and purified crushed lead, all right? So let's come over here. Let's put this stuff away, all right? Because we're just setting that to the side, and we're not going to deal with it right now. All right, we got this. You guys notice we're going to have a lot of stone dust. But don't worry, stone dust is actually useful for stuff. Throw that in. And this guy should be done. Throw that in. Let's come back over here. And these tiny piles are useful as well. So now we're going to work that down. And yes, this is a pretty slow process, but it's not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. All right. And then this should process through like that. All right, there we go. Let's put the stone dust in the tiny pile of iron. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're still processing. And if you notice, this does increase our output by a little bit. It's not a whole heck of a lot, but it does increase it by a little bit. So now we have this. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. That's what it exactly should be. God darn it. And I'm going to make this play, try and pretty this place up off camera as well. So let's open these. Let's go to item sync mode. All right, so now we add this stuff in. And if you notice, we have plenty of those small dusts in there. So we're actually going to need a second item sync module to handle it. Okay. And we're actually going to need one more pipe here. Because you guys are, those of you who know mods are going, Cass, you got a problem there. Which is that you're already storing all of your items as thermal expansion, but you're going to be producing them as IC2. Yeah, we're getting there. Don't worry, we're getting there. So let's pop these guys in. And that should go along quite nicely. Awesome. And we can see our logistics system zipping along. We got bee combs flying around. We got all sorts of stuff right now. Actually, I'm probably going to disable my bees in a couple seconds, but why did you get pulled out? Oh, because the extractors are still in there. All right, well, let me get those extractors out, because that's going to be making a mess of my system. All right, so let me go find those IC2 metals, and I'll be right back. All right, and the last machine we're making is a unifier from Mine Factory Reloaded. We're also going to need some silver, some lead, some tin, and some copper. Right? Right. Okay, beautiful. Absolutely awesome. Okay. So what this basically means is that the unifier uses Forge Ore Dictionary to convert in between different types of items. It doesn't really gain you anything. They kind of fix those exploits, but it's still pretty darn useful. And so this 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 is 6, right? So that's why it's not even. Okay, so we're just going to chuck our unifier down right here. Okay, we're going to put another chassis on top of it, and we're going to give that chassis an item sync module. All right, inside the unifier, in that preferences box, we're going to say that these are our preferences right here. Okay, now we can slot the extractor into this thing. All right, so that if I open this up, let's take our crushed copper, for example. And all of these should be connected, right? Like, all of these should be hooked up. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's go 1, 2. Can I get up here? Sort of, kind of, not really. One, 2, 3. And then 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2, 3. All right. So now we can watch this. If I take, for example, my crushed copper ore, and I'm going to chuck it into this machine right here, the ore washing plant. That's going to wash it up, right? And it's going to take bloody forever to do so, but that's quite all right. We actually have plenty of power providable to this network. So that's going to do that eventually. And it's going to wash it down. That's going to finish it. We should see it get pulled out and sent out. All right, awesome. So now our purified crushed copper ore is getting sent to this thing. It's getting produced. Now what's going to happen is it's going to get pulled. But I forgot to configure this thing, item sync. There we go. So if we do this, this should take priority throughout the entire network. An actual item sync module with an assigned item has priority over everything. Normally, priority, I believe it goes default, mod-based, polymorphic, and item sync. Okay, so we should have seen that get dealt with, but let's just tech by taking one more crushed pile of copper ore, and we're going to chuck it in there. All right. Now, if you actually watch this thing as I put the IC2 materials in, see how they're getting converted out and then pulled out by that extractor? Of course, the extractor is not very fast, but see? Beautiful. So now this thing should be mostly automated. Well, mostly. Except for the stone dust, sulfur dust, and all of this dust over here, of which there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. Oi. Okay. Let me figure out how I want to deal with these. I think I know, and I think it's going to be a pain in the rear end to do it, but I can do it right over here, cross-connect to that. Yeah, I think that's the best solution. All right, so let me make something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Let me make a few things, because what we're going to need is something to craft and something to, yeah. And I did this before with something else, and it was a little bit of a pain in the rear end to actually do it. So I think I'm going to have to do something a little different and a little more expensive this time, which, of course, makes me wicked happy. Yeah, so see, these are all going to be showing up in this chest now. So let me chunk that in there. And that should get sucked out and sent down to the unifier, and that should go get dealt with over there. Alright, I'll be right back. Alright, so I'm waiting on a bunch of stuff to cook up, but we're not quite ready yet to bring in, to actually switch over. But let me show you how this is going to be set up. These are cyclic assemblers from, oh gosh, the mod that I play with all the time. I know, that's so horribly descriptive. Those are cyclic assemblers. They are very useful. They are from Thermal Expansion, and they are Thermal Expansion's version of machine-based crafting. And we're going to just hook them up like so. So we're going to come over here, back here. Let's move these back a step. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, let's get our wrench out to fix our mistake here. And we'll just put down our cyclic assemblers like so. I really didn't want them coming out quite that far, but that's alright. So then let's get our one more redstone energy conduit. And these do take power to run, just so you guys know. Ooh, that was weird. That never happens on this computer. Anyways, and we're just going to hook in our logistics chassis like so. That is really weird. Anyways, I'm confused because this is my gaming tower, so I'm like, that never happens with this thing. That just doesn't... Oopsies. And let's go... What is it, this one? And like that. Perfect. So these are now hooked up. Okay. Now, I'm still waiting on the materials for these, but let me show you how this is going to work, alright? Oops. Now, we had to craft these schematics. They're just paper and a bit of blue dye. Okay? This doesn't really matter. And we're going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. So we get this stuff. Actually, let's just do it like this. Alright, so we got that stuff, right? Now, all we're going to do is we're going to throw a schematic in each one of these, and then we're going to tell it that 9 of those create 1 dust. Alright, so now that should be IC2 item gold dust. Okay, perfect. There we go. And now we're just going to do it with the rest of these and program this in. Now, I don't have the capability yet. There we go. To actually, because I'm missing gates, I need more gates to do this. But this should be fine. So we have that programmed in. We can program it into this cyclic assembler. If I give it that. There we go. Let's drop that off. Encode that. And mind you, those dusts that we're getting are actually going to be showing up in our IC2 chest. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to give this thing a second... That's what that second set of why the furnaces are all Mark IIIs, is to handle this stuff that comes out of here. Alright? But there we go. So we should be pretty much all set with our auto-processing system. I approve. Alright, so let me just get this stuff out. And that out. Well, yeah, the Ferris is kind of useless now. And let's go upstairs and start dropping this stuff off and see how well our system performs. Now, I do know that unifier is a little slow to get pulled out of just because we're using an extractor Mark I. And that kind of delays itself just to avoid derping out. Now let's drop all this stuff off here. Let's drop this off, this off, this off, this off, this, this. And ferrous ore can go back in here. Because this is the chest for stuff that hasn't been processed yet. Alright? Oh, lead ore. We can send that through as well. Now, I just want to make sure that we don't have everything ending up in our flipping IC2 chest over here. Alright, so some stuff is, but I think it's showing up in here as a holding area, maybe? Yeah, I think it's just showing up here as a holding. I think. I hope at any rate. Otherwise, it's going to be a real pain in the rear end to do this. No, because it doesn't have quick sort modules in it. See, this is one of the issues you run into on occasion. Alright, well, let me see how the system pans out, and I'll bring you guys back in once we're all set. Be right back. And we're back, guys. I can't tell you how many resources we used to do this. Look at my metals chest. Notice something? How most of my tin's gone. I'm down to 8 iron, 15 copper. Right. Welcome to doing this. Oh, by the way, one more thing. These don't stack. Yeah. Yeah, they don't stack at all. So, good luck. Basically. This is probably one of the most irritating crafting experiences I've ever had. To put things somewhat mildly. But we can finally start getting ourselves our coolant cells. Yoink. And 1, 2, 3. And as you can tell, this is sort of an experience. Yeah. This is a pain in the rear end. It really is. With applied energistics, this is not as bad, because with AE, it doesn't matter if they stack or not. You can just shift-click the recipe in, and the system's fine with it. Alright, so we're out of those. We need to get more of those. And at least I have the beeswax. Otherwise, I'd have to use probably more tin or iron to do this, which would take bloody well forever. So let me just drop some of this junk off here. You can go up there. I don't know if I have any ender pearls. They're actually in here yet. Nope, nope, nope. Yes, okay. We don't need any more sticks. I don't need any more insulated gold cable. As you can see, we're kind of building up on that because the small piles haven't been sorted. Oh, to fix this system, by the way, I just shoved a quicksort module in the back of that, so whatever. It works, it's okay. You know what, that's all I really care about. And we can drop this off, and this off, and this off. Sort that. Obsidian can go into here. There you go. Resort that. Okay. Where were we? Oh, right, this. What was I doing? Oh, right, the most irritating crafting in all of Minecraft. I swear to God. But this should seriously increase the speed at which we can operate our systems. So yeah, I'm going to be click spamming for a while I do this, because that's pretty much all I can do right now. Let's go back over here, and I can put another one of these in, and I can do that. And I'm going to need more tin, by the way. I'm not yet done with the tin. I have to do more. 1, 2, 3. Hey, at least these things actually hold their recipes, right? I mean, that would be utterly insane if I had to redo this recipe every time. At least this way, I'm a little bit faster at it. And so, yes, in between this episode and next, I'm going to have to... There we go. In between this episode and next, I'm going to be basically doing a whole bunch of mining, because I think if Nick comes back and he finds our resources like they are, he might just kill me. Yeah, he probably would. Because I think I burned through a good chunk of all of our serious resources doing this. That goes over here. That goes there, that goes there, that can go there. There we go. Alright, one... Nope, that's the wrong crafting table. That's the right one. So yeah, welcome to crafting these upgrades when you don't have applied energistics. It's kind of a pain in the rear end. I'm not going to lie. Actually, I'm going to tell you it's probably one of the biggest pains I've ever gone through. There we go. But at the end of this, I should find that I have 27... of these cooling cells. Actually, at this point, I just need 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. And we're out of tin plates. That's pretty easy to fix. I've gone through like 4 forge hammers so far, because we don't yet have the IC2 thing that automates it. And 1 more. And here we go. Now, that's all set. Oh boy, that was a lot of resources. However, it's going to significantly increase the speed at which we can process this stuff. So let's drop down and let's take a look. Ow. So I can go over here, and I can go 3 of you in there. If you notice, we're now drawing 12 EU per tick. All right. We're still at 12 EU per tick. The numbers on the tooltips, I think, are a little screwed up right now, because it doesn't actually run that fast. Now that's up to 66 EU per tick. So we have to be a little careful, because I think we can overdraw now. All right. But we shouldn't see this thing lighting off too often. And then that goes up to 8. Awesome. So let me just say 62, right? So let me get my calculator out here. 62... I'm going to clear everything. 62 times 3 plus 12 times 3, right? Oops. Ooh, it did that wrong. I know it did that wrong. Anyways, it should be a little less than this thing could supply, than our MFE could supply, I hope. But yes, that's our auto-processing system. I want to thank you guys for watching. We have that set up finally. I burned through pretty much every resource I had available to do it. Yeah. So I will see you guys in the next episode. Hopefully Nick will be around to join us. This has been Mr. Kassarian. As always, guys, happy mining.